Hello and welcome to Who Dares Rolls. I am your host Mike B, and here we are again for another thrilling instalment of board game Mumbo Jumbo for this, the day September the 15th-ish, sometime around then. I suppose we should just crack on with stuff. Let's have a think about what I've played. So, what have we played? Well, I got to the table over the weekend a good couple of times. It was Dreadful Circus from Portal Games. The idea is you are kind of sideshow carnies running your weird sideshow. It's a tableau building game. It's from Bruno Faduti. Good old Bruno. And everyone's essentially building a tableau of cards in front of them. But the quirk on this game, which is kind of cool, is that you all start with so many cards in your hand, 8 or so cards in your hand. You're never going to actually physically play them out yourself. What you do is you point your card up to be bid on, and everyone else at the table plots blind or bids in these little boxes. They fill up and they push in, and they're their bids. And then the seller only has the option of picking up one of those boxes, looking at it, and can decide either to take it there and then, or they junk it back. They don't get that offer again. They have to pick a different bid, and they could get potentially stiffed out. So you're building a tableau. They have different effects, either end-game stuff or stuff related to the other points and currencies you're collecting in the game. And it's cool. It's a very light, simple game, very easy to teach, and I really enjoyed it. I like the aesthetic of it. It's got this kind of Tim Burton-ish sort of thing feel to it, this kind of sideshowy type weird, slightly boo, and it's kind of cool. It's good fun. Generally, no issues. A couple of concerns I have is, number one, there's little boxes that you're using to bid on. They kind of are put together out of the box, and already mine are starting to look a little bit, so I'm going to probably have to glue them. Maybe an option would have been bags or something, might have been easier. I don't know. Not the end of the world. The other thing is in-game scoring on it is quite a lot involved. It's one of those that you're scoring about 4 or 5 different things, and the cards have different effects, and then potentially who's got the most of something has an effect. So it suddenly turns into this this algebra session at the end of the game, and there's no score pad and there's no way of tracking it. So, and it's a bit too much, especially if people of senior years like myself, to keep all that maintained and retained in your head. Up to, I think this plays up to 8 people. That would have been possible. You need to write it down. So far, to say there's no score pad in the game, I reached out to our buddy Ignacy and said, is there plans afoot? Maybe an app, something else? It's not off the table. His boys and girls are very busy on new Shima Hex thing at the moment for the digital side. I have inferred that maybe put it as a PDF or something to download off the Portal site. But other than that, very good. Very good fun. If you're on the market for a large player count, we've played it 4 6 player, I think it was. I think it goes up to 8, and I think 4's the minimum. It's good fun, really good, simple thing. I was getting kind of vibes from it that made me think of another game that escapes me at this point in time. Bit Rezakana-ish, actually. That's what I was thinking, maybe. Bit Rezakana-ish, which is a good game, but a little bit of that, but not quite the same level. But it's kind of just this nice sort of, it's nice. This kind of process of you potting these cards out and you're choosing what some of them are real evil bitch, other players things. It's got lots of good take that and mayhem, and it's quick. Very enjoyable. I'll say that. It was really good. Snowtails, we played that. I've had that on my shelf for ages. It's just a racing game, but you sled dogs. It looks quite simple, but actually it's quite involved. You're playing 2 cards down to control your dog sled thing. A bit Flan Rouge-ish, but depending on where the numbers on the 2 cards are, they could steer your dogs, and you could lose control and crash into things and stuff. I really enjoyed it. Bob was incapable of, he loves a racing game, but his brain could not fathom how to do this, and he just was useless. So I don't think he enjoyed it. But yeah, generally really good fun. Snowtails, it's sat on my shelf for ages. I think I picked it up at the works for like a £5. Very good. If you can find a copy and you're in the mood for a bit of racing stuff. I do like Downforce. This is a bit different. If you like Flamme Rouge, which was good. It's similar-ish in feel. Lots of opportunity to play around in there. It was reasonably priced. I don't know if it's still available at that reasonable price. If you can find it cheap, you can't go far wrong on that. Then played Die of the Dead. Got out again, really good. I like Die of the Dead. It's simple, again, a bit Die of the Dead and a bit of Dread Circus, actually, with like lots of hidden information and stuff. But yeah, that was all right. That's good. Die of the Dead, always good to get onto the table. And Sunday we had an epic game of Spartacus, game of blood and treachery or something. I love Spartacus. It's a real great... just beer and pretzels type game. You are, if you've ever watched a TV show, and I'll be honest with you, I only ever watched the first season and the prequel. The rest of it was shit, to be honest with you. The first season is astoundingly good, just for the rudeness and boobs and tits and John Hannah and all sorts of good stuff. Lucy Lawless, fantastic, huge, giant amount of fun. Ridiculous, but fun. But yeah, this is basically you running a ludus, buying gladiators and slaves and trading them and throwing them into arena fights and rolling lots of dice. And that's kind of it. We had a fantastic final match between me, who was controlling the Shadow of Death characters, giant, almost unkillable creature, and fighting everyone else in the arena. And it was bloodbath. And then I had my head chopped off and it was great. But Spartacus just been reprinted by Gale Force 9. It hasn't got the 2 previous expansions in it yet, as far as I know, and I think they've toned down some of the language, but it is a cracking game. It's really good. Does play long occasionally, but it's really good, just as a really good beer and pretzels game. As I say, it's no aspirations to be anything more than a bloody great time, and it is that. Let's do some board game news. Here is the news. There's a bumper crop of news going on. I'll try and skim through as much as I can in a short order, but we'll try. So off the gates is the Story. It's a board game table, but folds down, flat packs almost. It's coming from or involved with Mark Cadati, who is from the Not Board Gaming channel. Him and someone else will be working on this thing. It's coming out next year to Kickstarter. It looks kind of cool. They have not yet released a price for it, and they have said it's going to be a fraction of the price of a gaming table. But some of these gaming tables are very expensive. So a fraction of the price of very expensive is still quite expensive. If they could bring it in a really decent price, and I'm thinking suboptimal 100 quid, I don't know if that's a plausible thing or not, who knows, then I think they could be onto a winner. But we'll see. People like to spend money on bling, on board game stuff. I can't afford it. But maybe I'll be tempted by stuff if it's cool. But it looks cool. Anyway, it's a British innovation in Britain, you know, all about Little Britain. Lovely. The Story board game, Stowable. They missed a trick. It should have shrunk down and fit into a Calyx cube. That would have been, I'm just saying. You take that for free. There's a thing flying. Go away, thing. Fucking fly me, you fucker. The Advent big box, the tabletop magazine of doing, you can do an advent calendar, board game advent calendar. You pay, I think it's about 250 quid, and then they will send you throughout, or you get a big box turn up, and essentially there is a game to open during the advent period, lead up to Christmas. 250 quid seems a bit steep. There's quite a bunch of publishers on board that have helped. I've thrown in bits and pieces to this. Portal Games are always on there. There's a few others. A lot of them are companies I've never heard of, or they're not. So I don't know. Your mileage really counts on regards to if you've got 250 quid disposable money laying around that you want to give to someone to send you some board games that you might like. It's expensive. Maybe it's for you. It's too expensive for me at the moment. I'd be interested to see if anyone does this and what is in it. And then my opinion may change, because it might be a lot of value in that. I don't know. Send me, Tabletop Magazine, send it to me and I'll look suitably well and go, oh, look at this. I'll open one every day in the lead up to it. And what more could you ask? On a huge, ever-increasing subscriber count, you could easily probably sell at least one more submission to this. Moving on quickly. Keyforge has broken. Shockhole news is apparently the algorithm that creates the Keyforge decks has apparently broken, so they can't make any more at the moment. Vicious rumours float around. Was it the guy who was programming it? Has he deleted it? Did they sack the guy who did program it and now they need him back because something's... I don't know. This is the thing with IT stuff, is often people set this stuff up and then they go, or they get shot rid of, or something else happens, and then suddenly no one can fix it. Does have to wonder, has that happened at FFG? So there you go. I don't know. We'll have to see if Keyforge rule return. They've said they're going to do it, but for the time being, no more stuff is coming. I think there's one last new set coming out soon, but other than that, it's broken somehow. Meanwhile, eagle-eyed Pete Buckle on Board Game Geek. Sounds like we're heading into This Is Life. Fucking love it. Meanwhile, eagle-eyed Pete Buckle on BGG has spotted something. He was looking at his freshly minted copy of Alien Fate of Nostromo, which is a new Alien board game from Ravensburger, and OP Games, I think it is. He spotted that box, they've got the wrong pussy. They've not got Ripley's pussy on the box. They've actually got Captain Marvel's pussy on the box, because there's a collar one. That's not Jones. That's apparently Captain Marvel's pussycat. What a calamity. Moving on swiftly from that. Seven Wonders Architects has been announced. Now, Seven Wonders, great game, done very well. Sold quite a few of them, I believe. And they did Duel recently. Architects is set to be apparently a streamlined down version of Seven Wonders. Now, many people decry Seven Wonders as being an entry-level game. It fucking isn't, okay? It really isn't an entry-level game. Your standard muggle in the street would be bamboozled by it. I've tried it. I have taught it to the kids, and I did play with the kids. But actually, there's that level of complexity that when you get to explaining the science cards and the things, all that gets a bit complicated. So I can see how this would work if it was streamlined down. The basic idea works story-wise of you building your civilization. I can see that working with reduction of all the mechanisms purring away behind the scenes. However, a $50 price ticket on it seems to be missing the trick of an entry-level board game. I would have thought 20 quid to 30 quid is the optimal kind of entry-level board game. We shall see. I don't know who's going to buy it. But there we go. It sounds interesting. I don't mind Seven Wonders. I don't know if this would be for me, but yeah. Speaking of Ravensburger, we spoke to them just a minute ago. They are suspending their sales book as of, I think, the 17th of September. They're not going to take any more orders because they can't guarantee they're getting the stock for past that period of time. So anyone on the books at the moment is fine, but as the shipping situation continues to be a clusterfuck across the world, a lot of people there's doom and gloom generally on the horizon all over the place. But yeah, it looks like they're going, this is what we can do. Boom. It's been long decried that we're heading towards a bleak Christmas because all of this stuff isn't going to get over here due to the shipping issues. And there'll be shortages of nice stuff on the shelves at Christmas. I mean, we're in England, so we're fucked anyway. We've got shortages already on the shelves. So Christmas will be cancelled, I imagine. We'll be eating a cat or something. I don't know. But there we go. So the worst case scenario, we might have as many new board games for Christmas, which is a shocking turn of events, if ever I've said one. Quickly, I saw they put out an expansion for War of the Ring that added a variant to the beginning of it. I haven't owned War of the Ring. It's on my bucket list, grail list of games I'd quite fancy. I have Star Wars Rebellion. This is kind of cool. It kind of takes the process of if the Battle of the Five Armies at the end of The Hobbit had gone a different way, that changes the setup of your start of the War of the Ring game. I would quite like to see an expansion for Rebellion which give you a bit more of that sandbox kind of what if feel to it. I don't think we're ever going to see it, but that was my one issue with Rebellion, which is a great Star Wars game of you retelling the original saga, but it's just a little bit too kind of hemmed in. It doesn't quite give you the free rein to fully go nuts fan fiction type on it. But, you know, something like this would be kind of cool. Who knows though. Aircon tickets went on sale the weekend. If you've not been there, Aircon was really good. Been there a few years ago. Really enjoyed it. Really a small but fun con. They were the last con that actually run, I believe, and once COVID happened, and they've been the last one actually in the world, I believe, that ran. So they're coming back this year with another one. It's kind of cool. My biggest issue with Aircon is it's too far away to get to. It's up all the way up north. It's just too far. But well, I'll go back again at some point. And then if you've been missing the Twitterverse and the other stuff, you would have missed the tournament fishing debacle. Tournament fishing from Nazi Goat Games or something Goat Games. Basically, they put out an image of a frog. We're allegedly putting a far-right white supremacist symbol. It was showing it in its fingers, which is an OK sign and a W or something. That's a thing. which I didn't know about at the time. But essentially got called out on that they were doing this. Death threats followed from various far-right lunatics, because that's always a good look. Slightly rapey comments, just white supremacists, frogs, white power symbols. It's all just a bit like a fiasco episode of an RPG. It's a mess. It's like a Coen Brothers movie in the board game world. Yeah. Look, the end result is, whether that was intentioned or not, the froggy white power symbol, the subsequent fallout and what happened and what was said, including on the actual Kickstarter page at one point, them decrying themselves as white supremacists and actually saying they were white supremacists, which is kind of, it was all a bit of a mess. So generally, it's not cool, really. But anyway, that happened. If you want to go down the rabbit hole, there's a thread on BGG, I think, on that, and there's other stuff. I would suggest probably steering clear, because Gaming Goat, that's who they are. They just seem like a fucking bunch of arseholes, in my opinion. So probably move along. Nothing to see here. Who does roll stuff? Vienna Connection review came out last week. There is forthcoming, will be at some point this week, we'll be dropping the Clank Legacy, the Lost Clank Legacy review. Long story short, I filmed it, then I thought I'd lost the footage, then I filmed it again and didn't turn the mic on. Then I think I filmed it again, and then I went, oh, fuck it. And then I found the footage the other day, and I combined bits of it to make kind of a review of Clank Legacy. I put no other effort in. It took me longer editing this fucking thing than if I just sat down and refilmed it, if I'm honest with you. But anyway, that will be coming out in some capacity this week, hopefully. That's it for the minute there. Kickstarter, we had a brief look at that. I saw a couple of things. There's Dog Park, dog walking board game, though I did notice that none of the dogs take a giant shit while you're out. So it doesn't seem very accurate. But there's that. Unsurmountable, which is for Scott Elves. It's a button shy, their little wallet game. I'm looking over there because I've got a wallet game over there. I can see it. Wait a second. One of these wallet games, they come like this. They're kind of cool. This is Smoke and Mirrors. It's really good fun. But yeah, they come in with a small set of cards, like a little wallet game you can carry around with you. He's doing Unsurmountable, which is a one-player mountaineering card game thing. Looks kind of cool. Looks right. And then another Kickstarter thing we saw was, Oh No, Customers. Is a British from Edinburgh. It is a terrible-looking project because there's this one image. It's apparently to do with you dealing with the general public, which is a good idea for a game. Not necessarily here. However, we will check the latest Who Dares Rolls technology, which is the Mystic Eye. The Mystic Eye knows all. If we were to pay the Mystic Eye will be able to tell us if this is going to be a success or not. If I can find... I've lost the fucking money. Who's stolen my money? There was a penny here. Aha! Mystic Eye. What's your vid on this? Dog Park. Will it do well? Oh, fuck. Didn't turn it on. Oh, I've got a coin. Try cardboard coin. Oh.
It is most doubtful.
Oh.
Probably not.
It sounds bad for the funding on Oh No Customers. But the Mystic Eye has spoken. We never know for definite, but we shall see. The me stuff. I've not been up to much. I did pick up a copy of Batman 89, finally. Kind of cool. I like the idea of it. Follows on continuation from the 89 movie. I quite enjoyed the aesthetics of that. It's not quite genuine Batman, but it is of its time and entertaining. This comes from the original writer, Sam Hamm, who wrote the original screenplay for the original Batman 89. And it's a continuation of that with illustrations and stuff relating to all the original cast that were in it, including Billy D. Williams and stuff. Kind of cool. He played Two-Face that he was lined up to do and never did. Subsequently, Tommy Lee Jones and things and stuff. Anyway, that haven't read it yet, but that looks kind of cool. And I watched Nobody, which is kind of fun. It's a bit of a John Wicky thing. I think it's either the director or the writer did the original John Wick. It's pretty much the same sort of thing. So it's Bob Odenkirk, who is this old bloke who isn't violent and then is very violent in a comically kind way. It's got quite a good cast in it, generally entertaining and breezy. It's not high art, but yes, that was quite entertaining. Quite enjoyed that. If you get a chance to watch it, if you're in that mood of a bit of John Wicky thing, I quite like Bob Odenkirk. It makes me chuckle, and he's quite good in this. And I started my new job the other day, and I'm a bit tired from it, which is why I'm struggling to do this video now. But there we go. That's happening. So there we go. There is a board game mumbo jumbo for this week. That's everything that's going on. I think you need to know. I don't think you need to know any fucking thing else. If you do, well, go and look elsewhere. I'm sure there's much other board game media outlets putting stuff out. That's stuff. If you like what you see, then you could like or subscribe, share things, patronize us and stuff. We got more subscribers. We're nearly at 400. Can we hit 400 subscribers? Fuck me, yes. But for the time being, thanks for tuning in. Enjoy the rest of your week. Have a wonderful weekend of board gaming if you get to that. And stay safe out there. Until next week, I have been Mike B, and this has been Who Dares Rolls. That was the Mystic Eye.